You know, when the future president walked in, movie stars must be jealous. He couldn't get here because everyone wants a picture with him, right? Selfies everywhere. It's amazing, and he's not even particularly good looking, so I don't know why they want him. I'd also like to welcome a very good friend of mine from several decades, Rafi Lunan, because stand up, Rafi, because those Filipinos who are here, I want you to vote for him for senator, because he's running for the Senate. And we need people like him, not people like, oh, you know, those names. You know, when we were talking at the table here, Digon said, you know, if I become president, if you don't get things done in the first 2 months, you may as well resign, because you can't get anywhere. And I think that says everything, doesn't it? You've got to get things done. And I think that's one of the things that is a lesson that we've learned most in the last few years, is the need for more action, more determination from leadership to get things done, because they are not moving anywhere near quickly enough today. When he became mayor of Davao, and I used to have a factory in Davao, so I know Davao very well, it was a chaotic, unsafe city that was not worth going to. Today it's ranked as the 12th safest city in the world. And it is because of the mayor who created it. So I think that was a great job. It's also the 4th most competitive city in the country. You know, there was a picture taken of him on that Harley Davidson thing. I feel sorry for Felix because I think that says that he has to give that motorbike to I'm not sure he can afford it. Are you making enough money, Felix? You know, I wrote a column about the mayor and Davao some time back, and how impressed I was with what he'd done in that city. And I was particularly impressed when I went to the emergency centre at the ambulances, new, working, fully equipped, fire engines that actually had wheels and tyres with air in them that could work. And that column registered 42,000 likes. Normally my column gets 2 or 3 people who actually read it. This one had 42,000. There was one negative who said, and it was a Westerner, "This is appalling because of his summary justice." Well, I read in the paper the other day that there was a court case that was finally resolved after 43 years. The litigants were dead. What's justice when you have to wait 43 years for it? So he's a fairly determined man to get justice, and I'm sure he's going to do it. You know, this dinner was timed exactly right, because today the Comelec decided that he can run for mayor, for president. They dismissed the cases against him because they knew he was joining us here tonight. I want to read to you something. You know, the mayor is known for his rather outspoken speech, and for being rather naughty about the words he says. So I want to give him a little bit of advice, and this is about the F word and whether you should use it or not. And when is the F word acceptable? There are only 10 times in history where it has been, so he can perhaps get guided by this. The first was, "What the fuck do you mean we are sinking?" This was said by Captain Smith of the Titanic in 1912. Then there was, "What the fuck was that?" That was the mayor of Hiroshima in 1945. Number 8 was, "Where did all those fucking Indians come from?" That was Custer in 1877. Any fucking idiot could understand that. Einstein. 1938. It does so fucking look like her, Picasso in 1926. How the fuck did you work that out? Pythagoras in 126 before Christ. You want what on that fucking ceiling? Michelangelo. Where the fuck are we? Amelia Earhart, 1937. Scattered fucking showers, my ass. Noah in 4,400 BC. And number 10, or come on, who the fuck is going to find out? Bill Clinton, 1990. So here's the next fucking president of the United States.
To the members of this forum and I'd like to thank the sponsors. Thank you, Peter, for this invitation. I finally made it this afternoon, and I said I'd be willing to debate with anybody. I had my misgivings because Comelec kept on writing me a letter about the debate schedule in the Visayas and Mindanao. And I would ask them, am I a candidate or am I a candidate? You know, you're inviting me to talk there, and I do not even know if I'm officially a candidate for president in this country. You're still debating, you're still studying my disqualification, okay? Get through with it. With either disqualification and it disappear from this planet, or if I'm qualified, do it now. And I finally got the validation this afternoon. I cannot be talking of all the things I want to be president, but I'd rather stick to what I have been trying to communicate to the rest of the Filipinos. First is that drugs is flooding the country. I used to be a prosecutor before I became mayor. I was doing trial work for about 9 years. And I saw so many of my cases sometimes fail because of corruption and the things that you cannot proceed. Absence of the witnesses, whether intentional or witnesses that are threatened by the organized crime. And I knew at that time that we had a problem in this country. When I became president, excuse me, I stand purposely to please Peter. When I became mayor of Davao City, I tried to plead with everybody. I said that life has always been miserable for me and for the rest of the Davaoenos. Would you kindly stop? And it was not until I was re-elected as mayor did I see any improvement in the situation. My first term, this is not really to say that I'm a warrior for fighting. I am not. But I'm not a policeman, I'm not a soldier, but I had to do some killings there. Close encounter. It was always a fight. And of newspapers, and I got the reputation of killing people. On my second term, I was able to improve the scenery of the community. What happened during the martial law years was that every time Dick and Harry, who said or who said that he is anti-communist, he was given a gun, a handgun outright. It was distributed by the police and the military, the factories inside the camps. And it was desperate, they were killing, sometimes would go as 7 or 8 policemen and soldiers at any given. And on any day you would lose 1 or 2 Doing the traffic, three of them in front of me because I was going home. I saw the three guys just fall, manning the streets before Bunker 1 Bridge. And so I said, by the way, I am left. I belong to the left of the political spectrum. But I am not a member of the Communist Party. That's too far away. I'm here because my dimensions in life has all been shaped by who you are. I am just a son of a migrant who went to Mindanao. It was a long and winding sacrifice. I also had the opportunity to see the house. I thought my father was built on it because he thought it was the public land. And I had a demolition that one, to which day I remember. And that is why my dimension was shaped by the experiences in life. But I've been mayor of the city for 22 years, and you have not seen any cadre of the Communist Party or of the NPA strutting around with the gun. And that is why I said I've always fight for the people. I've always go for the man on the street. So they were the ones who were in the middle. So I said that if I am not the mayor of the city with this kind of situation, then who am I? I might just resign and give it to somebody else. So I started being brutal about it. I would not want to confess to you how bloody it was. But I said, I told you, just retold the story here in our table. But when I started with drugs, I said, go away or you will die. And once upon a time, sometime in 1992, somebody, it was a hypothetical question, and they would say, what would you do if somebody would come here to start the factory of Cebu? And I said, and this is a statement that Dilema is looking for and I said, they will not go out of the city alive. I would not tell you how many, but when I raided the factory, there was about 6 on the old time. And I displayed their bodies on the highways. It was that Undersecretary Doresa, who was the president, and said the mayor is displaying the body until morning time. There's a traffic congestion already about 3 kilometers away. And President called me, President Arroyo, and I said, Rudy, remove the bodies. Why are there? I said, Ma'am, I have to show to the people that I am dead, very dead serious about this thing. And things began to improve. Of course, there's Cebu in the city of Davao. It's very porous. You can go it by air. There's a lot of coastline. It's the longest actually. Ours is the longest, 36,000. But you can tell the supply and demand when you ask for the price. It's very expensive to get Cebu in Davao. And always, if you do it, you gamble your life. Now, it was a correct question when I said, how would you deal with this problem if you become president? You cannot go public and say, I will kill all of you, that I will kill the criminals, and that, if you are a kidnapper, you get the ransom. A lot of people have kidnapped, having paid the ransom. And they would say, well, they're all gone. As the kind of criminals that really I cannot accept. There was a kidnapping. That's what I said. I participated in some. Because I stationed myself with just 4 people, my security and Colonel Stares. So when they were returning the victim, we never thought that they would go back because the rule is do not take the same route, better straight. So we placed the warm bodies there. But when they came back, because we were forced to do something. I said, that was the guy. I wicked about 3 guys there. Now, if you ask me, what kind of president would you be if you go for killing everybody? And I said, well, killing cannot be the solution of what ails this country. But for the meantime, for the nonsense, we have a serious problem because it's flooding the country. And I said, I'm not into the habit of calling the attention of the president. But I remember it was All Souls Day. I was at the cemetery visiting the tomb of my father, and the ashes of my mother is over there. And I was forced to blurt because I was interviewed and say, Mr. President, I supported you. And Rojas, I said, I supported you. DILJ ka na dyan. Please do something about the drug problem. It's getting very serious. I said, I supported you. I never asked even a centavo from you. When you became president, you never saw even my shadow in Malacca. I never asked for any single project. But this time I'm asking you, money's worth. Kindly do something about the problem of the tanim ng bala. They were placing, it's called machinations, planting of evidence. And I said, this government of ours is the one oppressing the people. It has come to a point where this government are creating cases for the innocent Filipino. And I would just say to my horror, if that bullet planted inside the traveling bag of that lady headed for Singapore, what would have happened to her if she was caught? Because a bullet, a single one, is explosive under the laws of Singapore. And maybe if I really do not know how it will develop. I cannot make any projection. But tell me, what would have happened to the old lady? Hung by Singapore? Then I will burn another flag. I burned the flag of Singapore when they executed for contemplation. Not because I doubted the judiciary system, but it was bad enough, let alone the death of a family. But I was really offended by the reply when the Singaporean spokesman, not the president, not the prime minister, I don't know what was idiot to answer the question, and said, no, even if it is your president, we will not. That is too cavalier response when you are talking or answering to a head of state. As a Filipino, again, I was offended. When you are killing your own national, fine. You can drop that any adjective or adverb there or verb, but not when you are dealing with a life of a national of another country. That was just a way of, those are the minutes of life I'm trying to. But crime now has to stop. Drugs must be stopped. Corruption in government must stop. And I imposed myself that I become president by the grace of God. I'm asking only to 3 to 6 months to do it. My God, I will do it. I will use the powers, all the powers available of the presidency to stop it. Now I said, somebody is sitting, especially the other side, you'd always find a skeptic or a critic or whatever you say. I said, he cannot do it in so short a time. Look, if you choose me to be president, I am into it in the office 2-3 months. And nobody would believe me. I will resign. aalis ako dyan. I'll go out. What use would it be? Can you do it? If you cannot do it during the first week, you cannot do it in 1 month. If you are the president and you cannot in 1 month, forget it. It will take you the whole term and nobody would believe you. Now, I said, if I'm the president, and if I say stop, you stop. For those guys, the gangsters, the kidnappers, the drugs, stop, because I will use the military and the police to put stop to that. And my orders would be like this: go after them, kill them. Human rights, I don't give it. Kill. And I would say, to protect the military and the police, that I assume full responsibility for it. So if you do it the right way, if it is done in the performance of duty, and if you think that your life is in danger or in jeopardy of losing your arm and your feet, take them down. That's what I do in Davao. I do not allow taking hostage there and asking for the network to come for an interview. Kasi mahirap lang kami at just besides I am on drugs. And you ask for the ABS-CBN at Channel 7. In Davao, I said, before I arrive, you kill your hostage. Because if I'm there, I will kill you. And I would only ask the police, are the snipers already deployed? Yes, Mayor. Then I'll talk to them. I'll give you 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you lose your head because there are 3 snipers at the same time, and I saw a headless body. I see a headless body in front of me. I do not compromise with criminals. If you are committing a crime in my presence as mayor, I'll take you down. And that's it. Because the law says, and I said, there are rules to be followed. And, it's only when your life is in danger that you can shoot. But I would tell the policemen and the military, always think that your life is in danger. And if there's the slightest gesture of disobedience, and you think there's going to be a shootout, do not wait for it. Take them down. Lahat yan. And, but the newspaper, Time Magazine, really, anyway, they published a 2-page layout about 10 years ago. And they said, I'm the Punisher. But that was when I was mayor. Then you'll have a president who's also a Punisher. So what's wrong with that? You pictured me as a Punisher? So I have no qualms about being pictured again. And, when this Pope thing happened, and I was going to the bishop with my friends who were also priests, 2 of them. And one suggested that I apologize. So I will. No problem about that. It was really a remark that was inappropriate. Bastos, sabi sa amin. But sabi niya, Mayor, you're going to be campaigning for president. You better change your character a little bit. And I told him, Father, if that is what you want, I will not run. Or I will just forget about the presidency. I cannot change my character. I am I, and you are you. And my identity in this universe is myself. I'd rather lose an election than lose my identity. For after all, I have never lost an election in my city. 9 elections ago, I've always won. So this time we might want to taste defeat. So that I can also taste, I have tasted victories several times. I have not tasted defeat. So I would not know how it would affect my persona. But again, said I'm old and I'm ready to retire. But I'll never change my character, nor my mouth. And that is why I try hard to talk in English. Because the only thing that you're is the F, but you know, in vernacular, it's almost like, because it has always been that way, especially I come from the Visayas. Well, they do it almost at the beginning or the end of a sentence. Yawa is devil. And you can, there are so Visayas did. And you're looking for a pen, and you say, well, where's the Yawa yung pen ko? Or you're looking for some guy, and I said, you call, sino Yawa na yan, si ano? And my father used it every day. So then my father was a good man. I cannot say it for myself. Because of course, I have so many sins to account for. But I said, maybe the things that I had to do when I was mayor, but it's something which I have to answer to the good Lord. If I go to hell, well, to my mind, almost of the beautiful women that died in my, things that, the women that I know, they were quite almost beautiful ones, quite earthly, and I'm sure that most of them are in hell. And besides, if you go to heaven, you must be holy all the time. You must be prim and proper there. And so what's in the book and catechism, there are a lot of beautiful angels. And you cannot embrace them because they will fly away. These are mainly from human beings with wings. I really do not know. But I'm ready to whatever entrance for me awaits for me. That's one. Then the drugs. Crime has to stop. I cannot altogether clean the Philippines, but I will suppress all crimes. And this organized crime involving police and law enforcement and military and the PDEA, you better watch out. You'll be in a sorry state. And I hope they would. Because in Davao, and every Davao you will tell you, when I say, do not do it, you will die. Policemen there who had the temerity to kidnap people died. And to date, about 4, the latest one was 2 months ago. Do not go into drugs because you will go first. That's the rule. And that will be the rule for all in the government. Military, police, whatever, government, law enforcement, and beyond. Now, there are policemen, but 2 or 3 generals into drugs. They have to go. And if I win the presidency, I hope they would have the good sense of just retiring and not to wait to bullshit you in public. And when I say stop, LTO produced the plastics which we have paid for 1 year ago. God damn it. What I have is the paper to show that I have paid my dues with the use of public roads, public streets. I have not seen the plastic, they say that it's a good one, and even the plate numbers. But when I say stop, you stop. You don't believe me? Fine. I'll show you. Even if I'm the president, I'll go to your office and kick you and slap you. So yung subukan eh? What? Or I will just simply kill you. Tangina. You know, I'm trying to prevent this country from spinning into some... We have a problem in Mindanao. And you contribute to the violence by doing it every day for the rest of the Philippines. Now, you know, there is drugs, crime, criminality, closely associated, but not necessarily connected. Then you have to build the nation. Dito, sa crime, corruption, kaya ko yan. But there is something more violent. And that is really the Mindanao issue. I hope you realize the gravity of this situation. I'm here to say that we might end up a dismembered country. You know, Mindanao has the violence, almost all of it, because we are fighting so many revolutionary fronts. Now, you take out revolutions from criminality because it ain't. It's not one. You have to see this aspect as part of nation building. You have to talk to the rebels. NPA, the first time I heard Maria Sison in the 70s, I was a student with Belio Silvestre, the former Justice Secretary. He's left. I am left. And we believe in Maria Sison. We were the first original members of the Kataang Makabayan. You know, but I'm asking them now. I was a student in the 70s. I am now 70 years old. What do you want for this country? I do not want to go to Sison because Sison, they say that you visit Sison. No. Because Sison is an enemy of the state. And the military and the police would not look at it kindly. And when you are the president, they won't respect you. Just the same. But I will invite them. I will give them all the passes and all the privilege of a Filipino. No harassment or nothing, but we have to talk. We have to talk to the MPAs, which have been fighting an insurgency war for so long a time. We have lost 1,000 men, and until now, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. We have to talk to the MI, DMF, to all the Moro leaders. And the Sambonga guys hate me for mentioning even the name of Bisware. Now in the Philippines, if you look at the map, your right hand is the east and your left hand is the west. Now the tribes there, Maguindanao, Maranao, Iranon, then you have the Kagans of Davao City, Sama. But on the left side, the Zamboanga Archipelago, there's Tauso, there's the Yakans, and there's the Sama, and the Bajaus. You have to talk to them. You know why? When Magellan landed in the Philippines in 1521, and he had the goal to say, I have discovered these islands. Ano ka nang, pag nakaharap ako ng buwan, sampalin yung ulol na yun. What do you have to discover us? We were doing all right before you imperialists came to my country. Oh, what? Discover? Maswerte ka, wala mo. Puta, masampal kita. You know, at that time when he said, I claim all of the ownership and possession of these islands in the name of the King of Spain, who parlayed and who finances expedition here. And he said, he planted the cross of Christianity. That I will not debate. I do not want any issue about religion, for after all, religion provides us the moorings of our values in life. It's the reminder of who we are and what we are. Along the way, you forget You have to, that's God. But you have to talk to them. Because at 1521, when Magellan landed in the Philippines, Islam, I do not believe it's 1 century. I'm reading the archives of, I was in Malaysia, it's something like 70. 70 years before Magellan landed here, Islam was already planted firmly in Mindanao. Now when he said that I will discover there, I will call this the Philippines, and he raised the flag of Spain, the royal flag, and he said, I will name this the Philippines and all natives here, the inhabitants, Filipinos. What about Mindanao? Mindanao, the Moro, you ask them straight. You're a Filipino? And would answer it. Me? No. Muslim. So when they claimed the Philippines, including Mindanao, trouble started. And so eternally, they are fighting government. There was this imperial palace for control, then for 400 years, then the Americans came for 50 years. They maintained, though they came from a federal setup, the United States, they maintained the unitary type for control. They never give us the federal state. I do not know why. Well, maybe it's easy really to control the country, people, if there is a tight grip. Now, the Muslims fought them. Initially, when they were there, they said, we want to develop this fertile land. No typhoon, no nothing. Even at the time, they knew really the beauty of Mindanao. So they began this cadastral. They introduced the cadastral, and they were the ones who introduced the Taurian system in the Philippines. They divided Mindanao into cadastral, 24. It was good because wala pa tao. But there were very few. But then they could not get the Moro to work for them. They were hated. So they came up with this sloganeering, go to Mindanao because it is the land of promise. And for all of those who are really in the feudal state in the Visayas, went to Mindanao because there was a promise of land. There was none. Actually, they divided it into so many and awarded 1,000 hectares to Palstrom, Christensen, Imban. Little was really available. You have to declare that this is an agricultural land by conversion. Government has to do it. And you're given a piece of land where you have to hack your way into the forest to have a homestead for the land of the world. So the fighting goes on. We have to talk to them. Because, they represent about, not 10, that's wrong, it's about 17% of the total population of Mindanao. You have to correct the historical injustice. Because even now, the Muslims are into enclaves. They do not own huge tracts of lands. And that is why I said, you must understand the situation. It's not part of fighting. It is not criminal because it is ideology driven. The only way to do that is to engage talks in a peaceful manner. That's the problem. So then again, we go to nation building. Then you have to improve on the resources. Me, I'm open. Mining, you follow the standard of Australia, and I will agree. You destroy the land, the terrain, I won't allow you. I'll stop you. In the city of Davao, there is no mining. 3 Metro Manilas would fit into my city. It's 2,400 square kilometers. Hectares rather. That's Davao. It's a huge land. And I'm the biggest, but Hagedorn claimed the title a few years ago, says that he's the one who owns it. But anyway, I used to be the biggest city in the world. It would get me something like 4 hours to travel end to end. If I go to the boundaries of Bukidnon, Anagosan. Salamat. I will remember you. Choose the cabinet position you want. Business, well, I said we have to build infrastructure. All the planes, private, commercial, everything, big or small, land in Naya. In coming here, I have yet to be on time, except the night flights. And I would say, we'd like to apologize for the inconvenience, but your flight will be delayed in 2 hours. Is it an issue of airplanes? Is it an issue of incompetence with the pilots? No. It's because at any given time, the air traffic over Manila is crowded. You get to have about 32 planes, that's about 3 hours. All circling and making the final approach. So what do you expect? That's why I said, when you live in a nipa hut, do not throw a blanket for the entire body. That's what happened. You know, hindi lang nakuha ng tao. I was really cursing, and maybe the epithets, it's because I was ranting against government for the people. This by the people, maybe. Of the people, maybe, because we were doing our thing, crafting the Constitution. But is it for the people now? No. It is definitely not a government responsive to the needs of the people. As a matter of fact, it is government that's working hardship. Hindi lang alam ng tao, nagmumura ako para sa kanila. It was really a cursing for them. That's why if it is an issue of mouth, civil mouth, clean mouth, then go to the tree. O then, choose. If it's a question of bunganga, doon kayo sa tatlo. But if it's a question of the sad state of the Philippines today, and if somebody can do it, I said 3 to 6 months, I will stop corruption. And to be better, heed this one. Maybe it's not good with you guys around. What's happening to this president threatening people? That you gamble with your life. If I cannot stop. Pag pinahiya mo ako, if you humiliate me before the international scene, international community, and you keep on selling Cebu, then still planting bullets there, inside the baggages of poor people and foreigners, then you'll have to learn how to eat the bullet, because I'm doing it in Davao several times. Yung mga gihingi dyan, mga barkers, and if the drivers would not, asking for a bigger sum, hawakan man, they would just hold the tip of the knife, and just enough to, stab the. So one day, I was going out of Marco Polo. This driver was dripping, but very few. Sabi ko, ano ba nangyari sa'yo? I was stopped because it's either the police or somebody who is a hoodlum. He will take control of that corner because the passenger jeeps cannot be forever running around with few passengers. It's only in peak hours that they are really full to capacity. So, nag-i-stamba yan. They stay in, they make corners as terminals. And they would wait at that Ateneo corner there. So, they were waiting for the students to ride So in the meantime, they were waiting. It's a really question of space, but it is sometimes controlled by the police or a hoodlum. So I said, study. It's somebody there. So I called all the barkers. One by one, they went inside my pickup. And they had a taste of, you know. So finally I said, who did it? So they pointed to this guy, just alongside in Ateneo de Davao. At night time, you could see all the carinderias, instant eateries right there. But those are the things which I allow because I have to provide space for everybody. We cannot give them work, so they occupy the streets of small eateries and things like that. They call it the carinderia in our dialect. So I allowed him. So I was eating them. So I went to him and got his plate and slapped it on the bed. So where's the money that you got from it? All the money, I said. Good. Eat it. You eat it. I said something. And I said, could I just eat the smallest? No. Find the smallest coin, but you eat it. And so when this tanimbala was in the vogue, the fad, I warned the policeman. And I said, do not do it. You will eat the bullet. And if you want to plant, if you need money, choose the 22 short. There's a 22 long, called LR, long range. So there's the original guns before, there's a short 22, use it because it's easy to swallow. And that practice will be imported all throughout the Philippines. Do not put a 7 point, what's the 7.62? That's the Garan. It's really big. 50 caliber is that long. M16 is shorter. If you make the mistake of putting the M16 or the Garan, then you'll have to push it down onto your throat. Because that is the only way. I have the most behaved police in the entire Philippines. Nobody's milking nobody. But in Davao City, if they have a problem, and they would go to me and I said, do not ask from the policeman. You know, it's just a matter of the mayor taking care of the police because verily, walang pera. The take-home pay for the first time the guy is patrolman is 14,000. How can you? My driver, every there's enrollment, I asked them, he borrows money and I said, how much did you borrow? 26. Then what is your take-home pay? Now, it's 2,700. How do you expect to send your 3 girls to college, one in high school? How do you expect to send your little girl to school? With the tools, how do you provide food for the table? You are lucky because you are assigned to me as driver and you have these additional allowances from the city. But how about those other guys that are out of the states? So I told you, if you have a problem, come to me. Birth, hospitalization, wife, children, you come to me and I will look for a solution. If you come to me for a personal problem because you have 2 wives and they're quarreling with you, I cannot give you the advice because I have the same problem. She caught me just recently. In this age now of technology, be very careful. They pretend to be, dangerous. We live in an aquarium, all of us. So guys, you better have your. It's not still okay. But in Davao, I do not want, especially the public conveyances tax, no things. We have told them, I want to look what's inside your car. So this is the wagons, the big one, it's the vans. And, they travel to Cotabato and other places. And I prohibited them from using things. I said, I want to look what's inside. Maybe it's time to consider that also. Unless you are with your girlfriend, and if you think that somebody is staring at you, just put her head down, or buy a big towel and cover it. It's part of. I think it would be good. In the United States, it's not allowed. Maybe I will think about it. In Davao, we no longer have deaths due to vehicular accidents. For a time, a lot of, even in the downtown area, people were dying because over speeding. So I said, well, you're not allowed to really run over people here. It's 30, 40, 60. That's it. Ang sa awa ng Diyos, we do not have. Yung motor na, that's why I have an issue of spinal because I had a very bad spill 2 years ago. I cannot ride that huge machine. I'm limited to the light ones, 650 to 50. So there's a limit there also. No smoking, no drinking beyond 1 o'clock. But I will not do it here. I will leave it to the local government. That's not my territory anymore. And besides, it would kill business. But smoking, definitely, inside enclosed places. That would be thing in the past. I would insist on that. In Davao, even when you walk the streets, you do not see anybody smoking because I added in all public places. A street is a public place. It's a corner is a public space. A pedestrian is a public place. Inside the hotel is a public place. And if you're a smoker and you ask me, Mayor, where do I smoke? I don't know. I really do not know. It's your problem, not mine. It's not allowed. So you have to go home and smoke that. You have to invest something more. The cigarettes and to look for the place where you can. And of course, there is no big bang during New Year's. I do not allow it. I do not see any rhyme or reason to perpetuate the practice and they lose lives and limbs of our children. That's not the another. Maybe I will impose that also. Even during March, during the time of the people, there was less. Especially the idiots firing their guns. What goes up must go down with the same velocity. Whether you kill people. Let's maybe go back to business. I'm open to suggestions. What I will do with the urban poor, I will have something for them. Maybe I will just realign some funds bigger to promote the micro, small and medium. There are many things that you can do really. You can create sort of another market. You just have to open, there has to be an activity where money can be circulated. Then I have to encourage growing. Hydroponics, container farms. But for the big business, I'll try to see. There are a lot of people asking for the tax system. I must confess that I'm a lawyer. I'm not quite familiar with the impact of how government will suffer or benefit in taxation. I have a meeting with former Finance Secretary Barata. I think it's tomorrow. I will have to ask Peter, you guys. I want you, but there's this I can. If we decide, it's Congress. It's not a singular thing. It has to be Congress and me. If we decide something like opening the lands, well, personally, I am not ready for selling, but I can give you a list for 30 years or 50 years. If you want another 50 years, that's a lifetime. You practically own it. And also the Japanese, they were the first to was the idea that if there's an island, and if you set up factories near to where the resources are, raw materials, I will go for it. I will convince the people to just maybe sell or lease the property. I'll give you an island. I'm serious. There's 700,000 islands plus in the Philippines. If you want to put up a factory, you're comfortable from the intrusions or you do not want to be disturbed, then develop the island, factories, follow environmental rules, then you will not have a problem with me. Mining, the best that I can say now is the Australian standard. Just follow the Australian standard and you can have your mindset. Just take care of the environment. Taxation, it's a dynamic thing, and I will consult you from time to time. But I'll take care first of the poor. I have a program. I'll use some money, I said, this micro and small, medium programs. But I'll have to empower, I'll have to go to education and build more hospitals. As my friend has suggested, there's no such thing as a universal health care. And even they say that it's the dental or the oral health of the people is terrible. I would agree. And I'm sure that you will agree. That there's really a dearth of precautions or program that would promote oral health. But in Davao City, I suspected earlier, because I had classmates before, that it turned out nung lumaki na kami, they found out to hearing impairment and eyes. Because I early on I had mine, but I had eraser, I was short-sighted. I had to do it because I rode the motor. I wanted to see further. It's a radar because, if you fail, then we run this thing. If you're in a highway, if you go to, for example, I've traveled the Philippines twice, so I earned my stars. If you are into this, and you would say that you limit the speed to about 90 to 100, nobody will go with you. And they will say, just go ahead. We will. This thing, it allows a motorcycle, if you have to have something like 130, 140, 150, 160. If it's a clean highway, you are in heaven. Do you know that only the motorists, only those people who ride the motor can experience the slow motion? This one will give you the experience if you ride the motor. Go something like this. If you go to the enclave or something. If you hit 160, it's the peripheral vision will give you. It's a very slow thing. Tapos you slow down. That wonderful machine will kill you, but it will give you an experience with. I have 4 friends today. They died in motorcycles. Crash. Me, I had mine when I'm now 70. I was 67, I had a very bad spill. I got troubles with my C4, C7. And Mercado, Cardinal Santos is the #1 neuro surgeon. Said, I can open you up and make some improvements. But my wife was a nurse, she used to work in the United States. But, you know, let me explain. Womanizing. Hiniwalayan ako ng asawa ko. I mean, I got separated from my wife and she insisted on the annulment. I begged her not to because of the children, but she went ahead to file annulment. And this woman, si Hanila, was in America. So, for almost 4 years, I was vacant. What am I supposed to do? I was healthy with this thing hanging down, doing nothing. Either I cut it off or feed it to the rats. No, I have to do something. Or after all, libido is not only for you, it's for all of us. And it was overflowing because I was younger then. But now, especially that I'm running for the president, 70, I have to call Pfizer. Ang ina, bakit ito lang yung supply dito? Has to be with the cooperation of... that's why, if I'm going to give an award, actually, multinational doing business, the best product there is, Pfizer. Is there somebody like that? Because, you know, it makes us function until now. I can't, you know, let's be realistic. Our fathers, whenever read it slows down something like when you are 50s, late 50s, 8 to 9. But that's the excuse, because if it's another girl, sometimes you do not need Pfizer. You can do it. If it's a new one, it's an old one. My wife is listening. She might get the idea of what I'm trying to say. Nahuli nga ako, kaya nga, she's that. Hindi man ito nagsama. Ngayon, nakabuntot. Anyway, mabutit na lang nahuli mo ako yung sa katandaan ko na. Okay, kung noon yan, bigti na lang ako. Wahala na. Well, what else would I share with you? The most important message, you're a businessman. And we will be fair. And if you want, a reduction of taxes or whatever, if you want a guarantee that you can bring your profits all together, 100%, we will allow. After all, I'm not so much into so many factories. I am into the problem of work. So if there are factories, if there are investments coming in, and yes, the only thing that I have to do first is to make it peaceful. I hold it's an article of faith. And I said it to the Davaoians early on that no progress or development in the city can happen, can occur if there is no law and order. So I said, I laid down the rules. So that was about 1988, when I first became mayor. I'm still mayor now. Well, that would show you how long I've been there. That's why it's about time either to retire or do something more. And if it's the presidency, really, it's just too bad that Serapi is running for senator, because I would have wanted him to be the DIG again. He was my boss many years ago. And I said he was the one who went to Davao when they burned the flag of Singapore. He was sent by President Ramos. I said he wanted to see me. I said, sir, what's the nearest that you'd want? He said, the nearest. I said, I'll wait for you at the Insula Hotel. So we had a very long serious talk. I said, I said, I can understand you. I know you. President is also worried. But can you write a letter of apology, and I said, sir, I'm sorry. I will not apologize. I'm ready to tender my resignation, but I will not apologize. And he said, no, I will call the president. Well, no, it's okay. So it was really President Ramos who first went to Davao to convince me to run. Wait about 2 hours, and he was telling me problem, this granted, this and that. And every time I'd butt in and say, Mr. President, I don't have any money, I do not have the ambition, and he would stop me saying, shut up. I came here to talk to you, not you to talk to me. That's President Ramos, military man. And a host of other guys from Manila. I would like to be frank with you. Actually, my wife is there. Every time I leave for Manila, all these campaign sorties, I was starting with Federal. She would bring out the Bible and we would read it. I'm not lying, it's real. And I said, then let's pray. So she has been doing all the prayers. And said, at the beginning, when I was already going out every time, I said, can I say the prayers? And I would say, Lord, I am into this fix. I never wanted to be a president because I know I'm old and I cannot maybe survive the rigors. But if you think that I should be there, then so be it. But let me remind you that I am not really the best candidate. I have my moral issues. I have this penchant to take shortcuts. And I do not want to do it on a large scale. But I said, Lord, you know that. I leave it up to you to decide. But see my limitations first. That's why, frankly, I would say, Lord, can you fix something so that I will be disqualified? Because of the enormity of the problems. It's very daunting. I am not a graduate of, I do not have the scholastic excellence. All my life, it was always 75. Until bar time, because we spent most of our time. And na yung San Beda, papunta ka doon sa Ligarda, meron diyang kanto. Ina-advertise na the best cold beer in town. Chill. That's why I'm always tempted. Good that we passed the bar. We were there all the time drinking, and I said, I was satisfied. 75. You know, when I was in, we'll go now. It's 10 o'clock. I was always, I was expelled from Ateneo when I was second year, so I had to go out to the province. Digos was then a municipality. It was not yet a city. And this Secretary Doresa, he was the valedictorian. We were playing basketball all the time, and we would need men to make up the teams. I would call Jess Doresa, Jess, na! And Jess Doresa would say, aral pa ako. So, you go to the leopard, there are a lot of plenty of mosquitoes there. Come and play with us. So, it came to pass. We graduated high school. He was the valedictorian. He got 93 on the average. Me, 76. So we finally went back because during the graduation ceremonies, but they would give you just a piece of roll. It's blank. There's nothing inside there. It's not the diploma. You have to go back to the school another 1 month after to get your diploma. So we were there all the time, and they were congratulating Jess Doresa, flying colors. I said, Jess, come here. Let me borrow your diploma. And so I smashed my diploma. I just placed it side by side. Holy Cross of Digos Boys Department. Mine, Holy Cross of Digos Boys Department. opening salute, be it known. I told my classmate, come here, be it known that Jesus Doresa, that Rodrigo Duterte has completed, blah, 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 blah. Signed, Brother Elric. Me, Brother Elric. Oh, 93, 76. Same. No difference. Then became to be a great, very bright, to be secretary of peace process. Well, I became a mayor. But he was hugging the national scene. It was just local. But, you know, life has many roads to follow. He's retired, and maybe by quirk of fate, will be President of the Republic of the Philippines. 76. Well, I can rest on the Doresa, well, he's retired, and I'll call him back, just like Secretary Alunan, because we have to fix the peace process of this country. We have to talk to him. And I said, Kibelio, vote do not, better not run, because I would need you if I win, because he's closest to the communist. He's left. He's pretending to be right. He was the Secretary of Justice. But you know, I said we are not members of the Communist Party. In the left spectrum of socialism or just here. And it is only because we grew up with that dimension, not really to make so many issues about it, but because we were sons of a poor father. Maraming salamat.